I'm going through a meditation certification, and there's another one that's really, really good for decreasing the sympathetic nervous system, which flares up when we have like anxiety or whatever, and increasing our parasympathetic nervous system. Some of you guys may have heard about it. Pretty common. It's a 4-count inhale, a 7-count hold, and then a 8-count exhale. So to really increase our parasympathetic nervous system, our calming system, you want the exhale to be longer than the inhale. And you'd go through that 4, 7, 8 count cycle 8 times, and you do it every day, preferably first thing in the morning for a month. And usually by like around 30 days is when you'll start to see some improvement, whether it's like IBS or anxiety or panic attacks, depending on the severity of, situation and lifestyle, right? It could vary in time and length, but the important piece is doing it daily and consistently for those 8 cycles. So
could you recap that again? And is this what's referred to sometimes as box breathing?
A little bit. Box breathing is where everything is the same count. So it'd be like a 4-count inhale, a 4-count hold, a 4-count exhale, and then a 4-count inhale. So that's the box breathing. The relaxing breath is a 4-count inhale. So we would inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, hold the breath for 7 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then exhale slowly for 8.
Okay.
And then you repeat that again.
4, 7, 8.
Yep.
And you do that. Probably great to do it for the rest of your life every day. But what you're saying is kind of do it judgment free, just consistently for 30 days, at least once a day, preferably in the morning.
Yep. Correct. Yep. And it's free, it's quick, it's easy, it's accessible anywhere, right under our nose, right?
Literally.
But yeah, you can do it anytime. Maybe like a stressful situation has come up, or you're feeling a little tense. But if you're looking for improving, maybe IBS or something that's a little more chronic or long term, you want to do it typically first thing in the morning, 8 cycles for at least 30 days, and continue it, for the rest of your life.
That's a great
to really help with the nervous system. Like they say, our gut is our second brain, and there's so many neurons and nervous system tissue that goes down in there. And so if we can help our nervous system by decreasing that sympathetic nervous system and increasing our parasympathetic, it can help with everything that might be going on in the intestines.
Right. And could you give a kind of a brief description on sympathetic, parasympathetic? I know sometimes people hear about the vagus nerve and so forth.
Yeah, so the sympathetic nervous system is what, most people know as that fight or flight response. So it is when our heart rate increases, our blood pressure increases, our eyes dilate. We might feel like we need to go to the bathroom, and we might get a little sweaty, and more blood pumps away from our brain. So we can't think as clearly and make as good of decisions. And it will pump to our muscles so that in case, we needed to flee, we would have the ability to do that. And it is triggered by the nervous system, a lot of times by our thoughts, right? So if we're having negative thoughts or worrisome thoughts, or things that stress us, like if something, triggers us, it will flare up that sympathetic nervous system. And it's really interesting how the body, it can get caught into like a pattern or a habit or a routine too. So if somebody suffered from a lot of repeated stressors earlier in life, their sympathetic system may kind of be hardwired to turn on and run really fast. And it's kind of in a habit of switching on and doing this often, which could then, like flare up for their IBS or diverticulitis, and they have to run to the bathroom. So if we do this breathing, sorry, a truck's going by. If we do this relaxing breath work, when you're doing the counts, it takes your mind off of whatever maybe that worrisome thought is or that anxiety might be, because you're focusing on your inhale, you're holding. And so it kind of helps take your attention off of maybe those thoughts or stressors. And then by doing the breath work and having the exhale longer than the inhale, it helps calm down the sympathetic nervous system, and which allows the parasympathetic nervous system to increase. And that is where our blood vessels dilate, more blood flow goes back to the brain, heart rate lowers, blood pressure lowers, body temperature lowers. And it induces that sense of, calm, like that picture of you were going to send that image of them rubbing their back and saying, let it go. So yeah, that inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8, is a really good relaxing breath to help increase and stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system.
Wow, that is such a great segment that you just covered there, Erica. And